Hey, seventh graders, welcome back. Today's an exciting day. This is one of my all-time favorite topics to teach and to learn and to talk about. And yes, I am still learning about Jamestown. There's a ton of stuff that's always being uncovered about the Jamestown colony. That is where we're at today. We're going to be talking about building the Jamestown colony, Chapter 3, Section 4. And as always, we're going to look first at our vocab at the top of the reading. There are 6 words total in this section. 2 of them will appear in the reading, and the other 4 you will find on your Quizlet deck. Quizlet deck will be posted on your Google Classroom feed, and you can also sign into Quizlet directly. But there are 6 terms total for this particular reading. We're going to be talking about the building of the Jamestown colony. We gave you a sneak preview at the end of our last screencast that the Jamestown colony is going to be the first permanent English settlement in North America. Vocab for this section, charter. A charter is a legal document giving certain rights to a person or a company. The settlers at Jamestown had to have a charter or permission from the English government to settle at Jamestown. This document, this legal permission, was a document giving them rights to a specific person or company, a charter. Second term is representative government, and representative government is exactly that. It's a system of government in which voters elect representatives to make laws for them. It is the type of government we have in the United States. Okay? It is the type of government we have. We choose representatives to make laws for us. Our representative here in Hoosick Falls in Congress is Antonio Delgado. He is the member of the congressional district that represents us in Washington, D.C. We have 2 United States senators that we elect from the state of New York to make laws for us. Those 2 senators are Charles Schumer, or Chuck Schumer, and Kirsten Gillibrand. So representative government, we'll be talking a lot about this year, a lot about this year, is a system of government in which voters elect representatives to make laws for them. Now, we'll be doing a lot on Jamestown in class in the coming days, but let's start today with the reading of building the Jamestown colony. Jealous of Spain's American empire, England tried desperately to establish colonies in North America. One of those colonies in Roanoke, Virginia, failed when all of the settlers disappeared without a trace. This is one of the most puzzling historical stories in our nation's or in our continent's history. We weren't yet a nation when that happened, but the disappearance of the Roanoke colony, and we'll show you a video clip in class on that. But this Roanoke colony failed when all of the settlers disappeared without a trace. In 1607, a charter was granted to establish a colony at Jamestown, Virginia. Now, the Jamestown colony struggled for years. Early settlers were more interested in searching for gold than in raising food. As a matter of fact, we're going to learn that there were very few farm tools brought with the first group of settlers at Jamestown. Most of the men that went were hoping to strike it rich finding gold, and that was where their concern was. So concerned were they with becoming wealthy that they brought very few, if any, tools with them to farm. Okay, it did not thrive for several reasons. Early settlers, we said, were more interested in searching for gold than in raising food, and when food ran out, settlers made enemies of the local Native Americans by taking their supplies by force. Also, the swampy climate and bad water caused outbreaks of disease at Jamestown. Now, the Jamestown colony began to succeed economically only when settlers learned to plant tobacco. And to attract new settlers to the colony, a representative government was put into place. This is a government in which the settlers at Jamestown chose their leaders. Settlers were promised the same rights as any English citizen. Burgesses, or representatives, met in an assembly called the House of Burgesses to decide matters that would affect the colony. And the new assembly had roots in the Magna Carta. The Magna Carta, that's a Latin phrase. It literally means the Great Charter. Okay. The new assembly in Virginia had its roots in the Magna Carta, a charter signed by King John in the year 1215 that limited the power of the king or the monarchy, and Parliament, the representative assembly of England, limited the power of both the king and the Parliament. After 1619, the Jamestown settlement grew with the addition of women who worked, married, and raised families in the colony. African slaves were also arrived at Virginia in 1619 as well. They were brought to Virginia to work in the tobacco fields and on the farms. So women arrived in 1619, as well as the first group of African American slaves. 1619 was a very significant year indeed at Jamestown. You've got a chart here that we'll get to in a moment underneath the reading, but we're going to answer the first question first. Answer the following questions, and we're going to talk about these in class today. Question 1, why was a representative government put into place in Jamestown? Again, when answering questions following a reading or following a document, we are going to refer to the document. I will give you, ladies and gentlemen, a moment to answer that question. Again, why was a representative government put into place in Jamestown? Take a moment now to answer that question. You can jot your answers down on your notes if you're learning remotely, or on your worksheet if you have a copy of the worksheet here in class today. Okay, and question 2 asks, or refers to the chart. Question 2 asks, to what did the Jamestown settlement owe its successes? And you've got a list here on the left in the chart, reason for Jamestown struggles and the reason for Jamestown successes. Take a moment now by studying the chart to list what did the Jamestown settlement owe its successes.